So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop. Prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No! You can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's Zenni.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. You might have heard that live shopping is exploding, and I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. Happy Monday. Wait a second, Scott. Did you just say happy Monday? That's against the law. You can't do that. No such thing as a happy Monday. Sure there is. You're just a stick in the mud. And we need to work on that. And you found the right place to do that. Fridays are happier, but Mondays can be happy too. It is a Daily Boost. My name is Scott Smith. By the way, boost described as whatever it takes to get you off your butt and get you doing what you want to do. That's it. That's it. I don't really care what it is. And also, fair warning today, I'm in a bit of a mood. I'm a bit fired up. You might get one of those moments where I get up on my pedestal a bit and get going. I don't know. I'm kind of a little frisky today. People tell me that, Scott, when you get frisky, that's when you're most fun. My wife says the same thing. But when I'm frisky, you got to hang on for the ride. I may have to stop and edit a couple things out. It's possible that could happen. I'm going to try to avoid that. I'll try to stay precariously just on the edge, as if I'm climbing a tower in Thailand. Did you see that on Netflix? That was awesome. I'm sorry, it was awesome. Now, climbing El Capitan, that was stupid. Just going to say it out loud. Hey, thanks for checking in with me on Instagram. Hey, Scott Smith on Instagram. If you want to email me, Scott at Daily Boost Podcast, I will answer that email as well. That's where you send the query if you'd like to join me in my inner circle. I'll be opening that and launching it here just a little bit. But you're welcome to talk to me about it. I'll tell you what it's all about. Just send a note, Scott at dailyboostpodcast.com. Say, man, heard you talking about inner circle. Tell me about it. I'll send you a document. You can read it. You'll know if it's for you or not really fast, okay? No sales pitch. I don't sell you, no. You kind of have to sell me to come in, okay? That's kind of how it's going to work. Why? Because we have some really cool people, and I don't want to mess up the vibe. So have you ever had one of those moments where your life is going fine? Technically, it's fine. And then suddenly, you have absolutely no idea what to do next. You're kind of lost. Just, what do I do now? Now, people call it a senior moment. Now I can actually live up to that, that name, but I've had senior moments since I was 18 years old. I did. Just kind of lost my orientation, I guess. Not lost, just disoriented. The feeling that your brain kind of goes blank. Not where are my keys? Not where's my phone? You ever walk around the house looking for your phone and realize it's in your hand? Happened to me just the other day. I said, wait a second, how'd that happen? But what if you're flying at 3,000 feet and you're the pilot and you start thinking, how did I get here and where am I? What if that were you? How would you feel if that happened to you? It happened to me. It's actually happened a couple times, but there's in a lesser lesser situation. This one was real. A few years ago, I had about 150 hours of flight time. I believe I was still working on my instrument rating at the time. I was still kind of I knew I wasn't dangerous. I wasn't going to crash the airplane, but I was still a very young pilot. I was experienced enough to be dangerous, frankly. And I was flying in a Cessna 172. If you want to fly airplanes, that's kind of the one most people learn to fly on. It's easy, it's forgiving. It's still an airplane. You can still get in trouble. And I had a dream come true. When my daughter went to college at the University of North Carolina, when I was very young, couldn't afford big cars and things like that. All I wanted to get was a big SUV. So I had a big SUV at a Tahoe. I took her back and forth in. That was the first score. And then the dream come true because I didn't own a helicopter, so I couldn't fly to my class reunion, with the Secret Service agents protecting me. I couldn't do that one. I never got there. But I was able to learn to fly, and I was able to fly up and pick my daughter up at the University of Florida. Yes, she's a Gator, on the weekends and bring her home. And I made the trip dozens and dozens of times. Clear day, smooth air, nothing special. Just it's a Florida heat. That's the whole deal. Kind of snoozing away as the heat comes in the cockpit. 3,000 feet's not very cool. I was about 15 minutes from landing. And if you know anything about aviation, 10 miles out, you're required to call and check with the airport. Call the air traffic control in the tower and say, hey, I'm coming in. And just check in. They tell you what to do. And so I knew the time was coming to do that. But the heat was there, right? The drone of the engine. I'd fly with my wife in the airplane. Whenever I do that, she falls asleep. She doesn't like to go flying with me because she falls asleep. Maybe just fatigue. Who knows what it was? But as I'm coming into the airport, I had this overwhelming sensation that I had no idea where I was. Now, here's the weird part. I could see the airport in front of me. It was right there. I wasn't geographically lost, but I had no idea how to get where I needed to go next. It was a really terrifying feeling. A panic kicked in. And like I said, it was right in front of me. If you've never piloted an airplane and you've never approached an airport on your own, it can be a bit confusing just to figure out where you are in this three-dimensional mesh you have up there. It is terrifying when you're lost. Because guess what? You're the only person who can land that airplane. You know something else? About 70% of the people who take flight training stop after they solo an airplane. They fly it for the first time by themselves and they stop training. Why? They just wanted to prove to themselves they could do it. I was doing it. I was up in the air. It was scary. But that's kind of where the training takes over, isn't it? So I knew I had to call the tower in a couple of minutes. I knew I couldn't freeze. That's not an option. Every pilot is trained on 3 basic rules in moments like this. And you can apply all of these to life. Aviate, navigate, communicate. And here's where the part where it matters to you, okay? Because this isn't all about airplanes. It's about, Tuesday at 2:30 when your brain quits. Or maybe Wednesday or Thursday or Friday. I don't care when your brain quits. It's when your brain quits and you're like, what was I saying? Now, that happens to be on a regular basis just because my mouth usually runs about 16 miles ahead of my brain. And sometimes there's a glitch in the brain. The mouth goes, what was I talking about? It happens. At least I can edit, right? Rule number 1, aviate. Fly the airplane. That's the rule. It's simple. Fly the airplane. Nothing else matters. If you if you stop flying the airplane, what happens? Trouble. You got to keep the wings level. You got to maintain altitude. You have to control airspeed. You got to fly the airplane. Aviate. In life, that means what? Stabilize. Don't make a dramatic decision. Don't burn down the business. Don't fire clients. Don't quit the marriage. Don't torch the strategy. Just breathe. Keep doing the next obvious safe thing. How many times? When you feel things are really chaotic, you don't want to just cover your eyes, do you? You want to keep doing it until you get it figured out. Covering your eyes is when accidents happen. It's when businesses crash. It's when relationships go downhill. Pilots are trained, control first, emotions later. We can cry once the airplane's tied down. Rule number 2, navigate. Figure out where you are really. And once the airplane is stable, then you assess, well, where am I? What heading am I on? What airspace am I near? What's true right now? You got to figure out where you are. It's like going to the mall. You're here now. It's the same thing, except the airplane's moving. Your seat's going back and forth. And if you don't do it right, I'm not going to say it. Confusion shrinks when you define your position. So in business, what might that mean? Well, what's my actual revenue? What's working? What's not? What's the real problem? Is this panic? Do I need data? What's going on? In life, am I overwhelmed or just tired? 9 times out of 10, you're tired, you're worn out, you need a break. Am I stuck or just avoiding? Ooh, let me say that one again. Am I stuck or avoiding?
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
Hi, this is Zoe Deutsch.
And Nick Robinson. Our brand new movie, Voicemails for Isabel, is all about those little moments that feel like the universe is looking out.
Feeling homesick, then your sister calls.
Hearing that perfect song exactly when you need it. Sometimes life rigs things in our favor, like learning about your new favorite rom-com, Voicemails for Isabel. Now playing only on Netflix.
Clarity doesn't come from spinning, does it? It comes from stabilizing first. So we aviate, we navigate. And the third rule is we communicate. We ask for help before it becomes an emergency. So this is kind of where the ego shows up. I was minutes from entering controlled airspace. I hadn't talked to them yet. I could have tried to fake it, but how do you do that? Instead, I keyed the mic. I turned the microphone on, and I said something like this. And the first thing you do, and I'm a paid communicator. Most people think I talk fairly well. I'm not sure how I do about that, but when I talk on a radio with the air traffic controller, I actually sound like I'm very confident and very in control because I have good communication skills. The truth is, I sound a whole lot better than my skill set back then anyway. I said, Tower, I'm a low-hour pilot, a little south of the field, and I'm confused. No emergency, but I don't know where I am. I could use some guidance. That was it. Very little drama, no hero speech, just honest. And these guys are paid to make sure I'm safe. That's their job. Their seat's not moving. Mine in the airplane is moving. I called up and asked for help. And you know what happened? Within minutes, they vectored me into a perfect final. That means they literally told me, turn to a heading and fly. I did it twice. I turned a little right, turned a little left. He goes, you see the runway? I said, there it is. He goes, well, good. See if you can land that thing. I kind of cracked up a little bit. And when I did, it was the worst landing that ever happened. We porpoised down the runway. If you don't know what porpoising is, look that up. It's when the airplane basically porpoises like a dolphin in the ocean, right? Down the runway. And it's not a fun thing. But I finally got it stopped. He said, not bad for a lost pilot. I just kind of laughed. So how many people feel in business that way sometimes? Lost. Runway in sight. You can see success. You can see the goal. You just don't know how to get lined up. So what do most people do? They stop flying the airplane. They spiral. They overreact. They isolate. They pretend they're not confused. That's when, small confusion turns into really, frankly, a catastrophe, whether it's in an airplane, just about anything. So there's a reason this works. When you're under stress, your brain shifts from the prefrontal cortex thinking way back to the back of the brain. Threat mode is here. You literally lose cognitive clarity is what I should say. Pilots train procedures so that when the thinking shuts down, behavior stays stable. Procedure beats panic all the time. The training kicks in, right? This is the same principle used in emergency medicine. Elite military units, stabilize first, assess second, communicate third. Structure protects you from the emotion. So what about daily life? How do you do this in daily life? Well, aviate, navigate, communicate. Aviate, stabilize your behavior. Please do that. Please do that, especially on the highway. Navigate, get clear on where you are. Communicate, ask for help. Early. Don't wait until it's an emergency. Don't do that, okay? So think about this just for a second in your day-to-day life. So maybe you don't fly airplanes. That's okay. But I fly airplanes and I ride motorcycles and do all kinds of things. The same training applies everywhere. In my business, I can tell you, if I don't, basically stop for a second and make sure everything is going fine, sometimes it can feel crazy. We have clients that come and go and clients that have problems. I help people build their lives and change their lives all the time. Trust me, that's a messy road sometimes, and that can come right down on top of me. Not a therapist, don't do that stuff, but still, mess falls on me. If it falls on me, what am I going to do? It messes with my schedule, it messes with my coaching, it messes with everything. I need to basically get stabilized. And I need to figure out how to navigate through what's happening in my business. Then I need to communicate, sometimes to clients, sometimes to vendors, sometimes to my wife. How about personally? Here we are just passing Valentine's weekend. Do you think maybe in your personal relationship that if you said, oh man, when things are getting hot and heavy, I'm just going to stabilize. That's called keep your mouth shut. And sometimes it's not keep your mouth shut. Sometimes it's actually talk. Why do I say that? Because many people will shut up and walk away. Better not to say anything. Some guys will say too much. Women are like, would you shut up and walk away? You got to figure it out. I don't care what stabilization is for you in your personal life or your business life. I don't care what it is, but that's the first thing you do. Don't mess anything up. Don't make it worse. Next, you want to navigate. once you stabilize and nothing's getting worse, it's not better yet, but you're not dying right now, right? Figure it out. Where are you? What's the path out? What do I got to do? You do it naturally all the time, every single day, but sometimes it seems there are these moments in time when we just lose it. The brain switches off. We become a different person. What do we do? And thirdly, we communicate. We ask for help early. What does that mean? Does it mean, hey, could you help me solve all my problems? Not always. Sometimes it's just a little tweak. I've had clients call me and say, man, they were stressing out because they didn't want to mess up my schedule. Listen, I schedule my schedule in such a way that you can mess up. That's why I don't have all that many clients. I have dedicated time to coaching on several different days of the week. They want to hold to it because I make it very clear I like a very steady schedule. It scares them. But I tell them, listen, guys, the reason I do my schedule the way it is so that if you need to change, they will freak out if they have to change their schedule. Just let me know. We can shift it. We can make it up. We can move it 15 minutes. It doesn't matter. Just communicate with me early so you don't surprise anybody. Does that make sense? You can do the same thing. Don't wait until it's an emergency. If you do that, things get worse and you know it. So put this in your head right now and maybe get some other words to it if you want to do that. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Figure out how you might use that. I know I'm talking to a lot of people right now that just this concept, essentially it's take a breath, right? Think about it, what's going on, and then open your mouth. That can save the day in ways you can't even imagine. All right, let's wrap this up. You don't have to declare Mayday, by the way, every time your brain goes blank. Help, I can't think of it. You don't have to do that. You just need to fly the plane. And just because you feel lost, it doesn't mean you are. And sometimes you're just a little south of the field, like I was. And one honest radio call away, and you're going to have a perfect landing. And especially when I was having my daughter in the plane, too. That was some, fly steady, get clear, speak up, you'll land just fine, all right? I'll see you tomorrow.